Hello class, welcome back in our online discussion in this course, Research in Hospitality 1. So in this video, I'm going to share with you one of the important parts of the thesis is about the literature background. Or I believe that during in your junior or senior high school, you encountered this one and you are familiar with this, they call it RRL or related literature. But for BISO, we call this literature background. So I share with you the previous manuscript of the students entitled Factor Influencing the Academic Performance of the BSHM students in BISO Candy High School year 2023-2024 during blended class modality. So we'll check the literature background of this study. So we will proceed to, I think it is in page 4. So again, this is a rationale. I believe that you are already done with your rationale. Or in other terms, it is an introduction. Okay, just a recap in your rationale. You have mentioned the gap of your study, the previous issues or problems from international, national, and to local, and to the specific situation of that particular, for example, research environment. And you have discussed also why you want to conduct the study on, and also how important to conduct your study. So now after the rationale, we have this, again, this is the 3 pages for rationale. And after the 3 pages, you will encounter the literature background. Okay, so it's found in page 3 for this manuscript. So I'm going to discuss to you the important background only of the literature background. So after you have this backbone of this literature background, it will be easy for you to put all the informations. Okay, so the first part, it's important that you need to have this theory. Okay, the first one, you need to take note on this one, theory. The second one is the legal basis. The third one is the related literature. The fourth one is the related studies. Okay, so I'll try if I can. I'll try to type this one because I did not prepare a PowerPoint presentation. So the first part is about the juries. Second one is about the legal basis. Third one is the related literature. Fourth one is the related studies. Okay, so let's go back to the previous manuscript. Again, for the literature background, the important content for this one is the theories, legal basis, related literature, and then related studies. Okay. So now let's proceed to the first part of the literature background. As you have seen here, this is the introduction part. Okay. So we read the introduction part of the literature background. In this study, there are 3 theories correlated, which are Albert Bandura's theory. This is the first one, which explains behavior through observation and limitations of other actions. Also, the second theory is the self-determination theory, developed by Edward Deci and Richard Ryan, explains the theory of human motivation and personal development. And then the third one is John Wheeler's cognitive load theory, which explains the limitation of work, memory, affect, learning, and problem solving. So you have noticed here in the first part or the first paragraph of the literature background, there is a summary. Summary of what? Summary of the three theories. Okay. Summary of these three theories. So what are the parts of the three theories? We have this anchored theory and supporting theories. So for the anchored theory, there are only one anchored theory and there are two supporting theories. Okay. Again, for the theories, there are first anchored theory and then there are two supporting theories. So you need to put in the first part of the literature background the summary. Okay, so this is the introductory part. So in your literature background, in the first part, you need to have this introductory part. And then in the last part of the literature background, you need to put the summary also. Okay, so we'll check if there's a summary in the last part of the literature background. So for this sample, there is no, yes, they have this summary or concluding statement. We will write in this one. Introductory statement. Okay, again, in the literature background, there are four parts. But before we will discuss about the theory, there's an introductory statement. And in the last part, there must be a closing statement. So we will check the last part of this literature background. So they have this closing statement. Studying the impact of limited face-to-face class on the academic performance is essential to identify the factors that can affect students' learning outcomes and to develop strategies that can optimize their learning experiences. By drawing on various theories, so this is the concluding statement. They have started the concluding statement on this part. Okay. Uh, be, by drawing on various theoretical frameworks from different fields such as cognitive load theory and self-determination theory, so researchers can gain a deeper understanding of the complex factors that contribute to students' academic performance and develop effective interventions to support their learning in a limited face-to-face environment. So this is one of the example of the concluding statement. So they are not just ended their discussion in the related literature, but instead they also put the last paragraph as a concluding statement. Okay, concluding statement or closing statement. So again, we will return to the first part of the literature background. So these are the important content that must be seen in your literature background. So this is the introductory part. This summarizes the three theories. Means that the Albert Bandura's theory of social learning is an example of the anchored theory. Okay, and then the self-determination theory and cognitive load theory is an example of supporting theories. Okay, so I've shown you the example of the theories. They are present in this manuscript. Introductory part of the three theories, and then they have discussed here. This study is anchored on the theory of Albert Bandura about social learning. So there is a anchored theory. Next, we will check if there's a supporting theories. Furthermore, self-determination theory, one of the supporting theories. We will check if there is the third one theory. There's a third one theory. Cognitive load theory, developed by John Swiller. So there is additional supporting theories. A total of 3 theories. So that is the first part about the theories. Now let's proceed to the legal basis. So for BISO unified format, we need also to have 3 legal bases as we have 3 theories. So after the 3 theories, we have seen here a legal basis. Article 14, Section 1, the right to education, the Philippine Constitution, and etc. So that is the first legal basis. Okay, let's check if there's a second legal basis. The second legal basis is the Occupational Safety and Health Standard Law, or RA 11058. Okay, that is the second legal basis. And we'll check if there's a third one legal basis. According to the Republic Act 10931 of Higher Education Modernization Act, or HEMA, the Higher Education Modernization Act, okay, mandates that all higher education institutions should provide a high quality education that meets international standards. So that is the third legal basis. Okay, so I have shown you the example of this previous manuscript. There are present theories or theories and 2 supporting theories. And after the theories, there are 3 legal bases. Okay, so now let's proceed to the related literature. So after the 3 theories, we have seen here the examples of the related literature. According to Su et al. 2020, in the literature review of the impact of natural disasters, etc. So this one also an examples of related literature. Okay. So there is no required number of related literature. And we will check on the part of the related studies. So this is the example of related studies. In a study conducted by Garcia and Patel 2021, it was discovered that the students' self-efficacy, motivation, so on and so forth. So this is the example of the related studies. Also this one, the second part, the second paragraph, in the study on the impact of natural disasters. So there are also related studies that we can read on this manuscript. Okay, so that is the content of the literature background. There must be theories, anchored theories, and 2 supporting theories. And there must also be a legal basis, 3 legal bases. And there must also have this related literature, and there must also have this related studies. Okay. So one of the question is, what's the difference between related literature and related studies? So as we have seen here in the related studies, from the word study, okay, so there's a distribution of questionnaire, for example, for quantitative, and just like, for example, your study also, that is considered a study. But for literature background, related literature, it does not require a study. Okay, for example, what are the examples of related literature? The example in the magazine, in the news, in the newspaper. Okay, that is an example of a related literature. Okay, not a study. So don't worry, during in our face-to-face class, we will discuss this further. Since we only have limited time for the virtual class, we will talk deep more on this topic in our face-to-face class, and you are free to ask if you have some queries or questions. Okay, I think that's. I forget also that you need part of the literature background also. Need to put the theoretical and conceptual framework. But on this part, I think there's a problem with the files on this one. So you can check also with the other manuscript that I've sent to you, some examples of this theoretical and conceptual framework, because this is also part of the literature background. Okay, thank you for listening and see you in our face-to-face class. Bye-bye.